Originally used as the Washington Military Parade Ground, in 1827 Washington Square became a public park. Prominent families moved into the area, hoping to escape the congestion of downtown Manhattan. In 1889, architect Stanford White designed the Washington Square Arch to commemorate the centennial of George Washington's inauguration as first president of the United States. The arch was originally made of wood and stucco as a temporary monument, but its popularity led to its reconstruction in 1891. The permanent arch we recognize today is made from white Tuckahoe marble and inspired by the Roman triumphal arches, originally built to commemorate military victories. This change of material from wood to marble not only depicts its permanence as a monument, but exemplifies the nation's desire for refined taste and culture, as well as white marble's symbolism for purity and immortality, a word often used to describe Washington. After the Revolutionary War, Washington was an American hero, and after his presidency, he became an American symbol. He was often dehumanized, depicted to be larger than life. This concept can be seen more clearly in Horatio Greenbow's failed monument, Enthroned Washington, showing the first president shirtless in a toga as if he were Zeus sitting on his throne with his sword in hand. This monument was built only a few decades earlier than the arch, but it sparked immediate controversy and was removed. Fortunately for Stanford White, the arch was much more popular, but it still incorporates that national sense of Washington, or rather the nation he represents, as being big and powerful. Standing 70 feet tall, the arch demands attention from any position in the park and is overwhelming yet awe-inspiring at any angle. Years after the permanent arch was erected, a 16-foot figure was installed on the north side of the arch on the eastern pier in 1916. Herman Atkins McNeil sculpted this figure of Washington, accompanied by two reliefs of the personifications of fame and valor. Washington stands proud, dressed as commander-in-chief, with his hands rested on his sword, looking serious but valiant. 2 years later, another figure was installed on the west pier of the north side of the arch, now depicting Washington at peace, dressed as he would during his presidency, with a book in his left hand, this time accompanied by reliefs of wisdom and justice. While the figures show a contrast in the roles Washington played, they create a balance and symmetry on the north side of the arch. However, the two massive figures are already scaled larger than the actual George Washington, and then are placed even higher on literal pedestals, pushing them up the piers on each side of the arch. Their size and positioning enacts a sense of intensity unfelt on the south side of the arch, which remains figureless. Even the representation of Washington at peace appears stern, seeming superior and uninviting. For this reason, I personally believe the arch is unsuccessful as a monument. By taking on the form of an arch, the monument holds the concept of the openness created through its form. Similar to a doorway, one is meant to move through the arch, signaling a transition or transformation. Arches represent a point of decision-making, to stay on one side or to move forward to the other. With this in mind, I feel the monument would have been more successful if the figures had been installed on the south side. Upon entry to the park, the two gigantic marble sculptures glare down at visitors, setting an unwelcoming tone which does not reflect the park's atmosphere on the other side. Washington Square, with its fountain and music, performers and artists, children and animals, does not match the tone of the two Washington sculptures standing before it. They would be better suited to warn those exiting the park to tighten up and prepare for the fast-paced Manhattan neighborhood with skyscrapers and taxicabs which they are about to enter. In conclusion, although the form of the Washington Square Arch depicts its subject through its materials, scale, and balance, I feel it would have been more successful regarding its form as an arch and what they symbolize if it were oppositely oriented. By placing the added figures on the south side rather than the north, the arch would better reflect its surroundings.